When you're accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessy Tentoo, and today I want to talk to you about some topics that are really important to me as a woman, and probably to many of you as men, women, non-binary, and all the gender identities there are, because it should be a topic everyone should talk about more that isn't on the spectrum of the other side. What am I talking about? Probably you know by the title of this video. I want to talk a little bit about feminism, sexism, sexualization, because these are topics that for me as a woman on the internet that shows her face and at least the upper half of her body, and apparently that is a problem for some people. And I wanted to take this opportunity and maybe educate a little bit, because I want to talk today about some topics that are sexist but I want to start with some disclaimers, because I think it's very important when I talk about this topic. First of all, I don't want to paint a picture about all men. When I talk about sexism, I talk about sexists, and that doesn't include every man there is. I probably will refer to men did, women received, kind of, but I won't refer in that sense to every man there is. I will refer to sexist men, because I know not all men are like that, and that is a narrative I want to talk about as well. I will be kind of brutally honest about some things that I consider sexism and that I consider feminist, but that really does not include every man or every woman, because experiences are subjective. And what I refer to as women in this video are predominantly female presenting people, regardless of their sex. I don't care. And also feminism includes every gender. And I don't want to exclude non-binary and all of the different identities there are, because you are included in this video. But I will refer to most of it as women, because I talk about my own experience as a woman, but please don't feel excluded just because I use that word. And to a certain extent, I think many men don't know that certain things they do are sexist, because our society doesn't expect much from men. And I think that is wrong, because you are absolutely able people, and when you get told, hey, that's not cool, that's kind of sexist, I think most of you will see, oh damn, shit, didn't want to do it, I'm sorry, and then move on with your life. And that's what I want to do with this video. I am probably triggering quite a few people, but the people getting triggered by the video are probably not really part of my subscriber base, so oh well. Feminism has become a word with such negative connotation to it that it's, I think, really sad, because feminism is in its core such an important and positive thing. Feminism only wants equality. Women, female presenting people, non-binary, every gender is included in feminism. The word feminism stems from an older time where other genders and gender identities weren't really talked about in society, but feminism at its core is for gender equality, and that includes everyone. So please, when you see people talk bad about feminists, we're not bad people. Feminism means we want freedom of choice, bodily autonomy. That when a woman gets pregnant, for example, and a woman doesn't want to have a child, it should be her or their right not to give birth to a child if they don't want to. And This is for one example of freedom of choice. We want the same chances in life as men, and we want equal decision power in marriages, because the traditional form is more that the man is the head of the family and makes all of the decisions. No. We want, and we don't want to destroy the traditional marriage. No, we want just that women in those marriages can make the decision to be a traditional wife. Maybe you want your husband to be the head of the family. That is fine too. That doesn't make you not a feminist. Feminism is about that if you as a woman make the conscious choice to be a traditional wife, then you can do this. That's all. Because many anti-feminists claim that we feminists want to destroy the traditional life. And that couldn't be further from the truth. I am a feminist. My boyfriend is a feminist because he wants women and other genders to have the same right and the same chances as him. That makes him a feminist, and you probably too. And I will be a stay-at-home mom and a homemaker, but I will be that because of my choice and of our decision. And we don't want that women make all the choices and men have to obey. That's also a misconstrued version of feminism. We only want what everyone else basically has. We want the freedom of choice in a marriage or in a relationship. You make the decision with your partner. You don't have a master, you have a partner. You're equal and make those equal decisions. That's it. So I hope I made this clear that feminists are not just man haters. Many men are feminists without knowing, but the word feminist is so negative in so many people's brains that it's actually sad. And that's why I want to talk about it, because there are extremist feminists, as there are extremists in Christianity. That doesn't mean that every Christian is bad. There are extremists in Islam, and not everyone is an extremist. And the same applies for feminism. Just because there are horrible, horrible women that throw bleach at men in the subway, those people are not representative of the whole movement. And I hope that you can see why. Also, I personally think men's rights should be included in feminism, because feminism, as I said, should include every gender identity, including men. Because men are harmed and oppressed by those stereotypical gender roles too. Men should be allowed to cry and have other emotions than anger. Because yes, men are as emotional as women, even in the stereotypical sense. Just because you successfully gaslit multiple generations in thinking that anger is not an emotion doesn't mean that it's right.
Immorality is a disgrace! These damn bills that come out here all the damn time come out here at the last second, and I gotta try to figure out how to vote for my people!
That f***ing price. Listen, you motherfuckers, we're gonna give a shit.
And people thought, yes, they're not emotional. What? Not at all. But men are harmed by this. This alpha male idea is also a pressure to men. Yes, that idea is probably made by men, but the men suffering from this idea are not the ones making that. This toxic masculinity harms everyone, as toxic femininity. It's just toxic. That's why it's called toxic. We don't want to take privilege away from men. We want to give everyone else the same privilege. So many people from anti-feminism and more racist people, they feel when everyone else gets the privilege, they are being oppressed. Hence the quote in the beginning. It's not true. But apparently many men think gender privilege is like a cake. There's just a certain amount of gender privilege, and that goes all to men. And when women and non-binary folks want privilege too, there's not enough for them in the end. privilege is not cake. Okay? Just to make that clear, privilege is not cake. There's enough for everyone, but we need everyone to work on this to make it a thing. Also, I don't want to take away the fact that there is sexism against men. Talking about sexism against women doesn't negate the problems men have. Now I want to talk about some examples for sexism against women, because as I said, I've experienced it quite often in my life. Basically all the women I know have many stories of sexism, and that's why I want to talk about it in detail, talk about examples that you maybe think, wow, I didn't know, that's freaking sexist, but you don't think about it if you don't have to. Absolutely. The best example that probably 99% of women and men see, that there are many topics that women aren't allowed to talk about when men are around, like taking a dump or sex, are topics that so often men look at you like,
why are you talking about this? I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear it from you too, but you do talk about it, so why am I not allowed? Just because I don't have a penis. Those are just teeny tiny things, but many men have this bubble of or this picture of what a woman should be. And of course women don't take a dump, they don't have periods. Of course, that's the worst thing for a woman to talk about. How dare you be a woman when you are a woman? And it sucks. 50% of our species has these issues like period pain, but we're not allowed to talk about it because it makes one gender uncomfortable. So many women in esports get shamed because it's only your looks, because you're pretty you have those amount of subscribers. I've been told that just because I'm a pretty woman I have an advantage against someone else. Is that my fault? Even if I get more subscribers because I am pretty. That's the problem of the subscribers. When people subscribe to me just because I'm a woman, it's them making the problem, not me, right? And also, you get told, oh, you're just successful in whatever you do because you're pretty. And also, you get immediately dismissed because, oh, you're not intelligent. You're just a bimbo. I've been called a bimbo so many times since I have my YouTube channel. I get told that I am unsuccessful because I'm a dumb woman, but also I get told that I'm just successful because I'm pretty. So everything I do on my channel, sharing my opinions, talking about science and debunking stuff, everything gets just thrown to the ground because you're a woman on the internet, or because I show a little bit of cleavage. How dare I? Because I can't be a feminist because I sexualize myself. I'm not. The next point is a point where I'm pretty sure 99% of the women have experienced. When we stick up for ourselves and tell someone, you know what, shut up, this is how it's going to be. We agreed prior to do this, and someone comes along and says,
you're probably on your period, right? Or it's just the hormones.
And that sucks. That is one part that makes me so angry when I'm with people, with friends of my boyfriend, or not anymore because of stuff like this. When I'm there and tell them, hey, you want to get brought home by us, so you stick to our rules. And I get told that I'm just acting like this because I'm on my period. F you. That is sexism at its core, because women do not speak up, because women should just be polite and, oh, if the men say so, I'm sorry. No, it's not 1820 anymore. We are in 2021, and when a woman says you're a shithead, then you are a shithead, okay? As a woman, your intelligence is questioned from day one in any profession. For me on YouTube, my intelligence is always questioned because I'm a woman. It's not that people just think that, oh, she dumb. But people say,
You're a woman. Women aren't as intelligent as men.
These are things I get told on an almost daily basis. I don't take it to heart because I know how many sexists there are in this world. One side of sexism that is incredibly important and so unknown amongst just people in general, I didn't know for 27 years of my life. I just learned recently about it, that women die and get seriously injured in car crashes way disproportionately more than men, because all the crash test dummies, as recently as I think just a handful of years, were only male. Cars were built to fit males. Cars were built to fit to men. The only time where women were taken at least into account is for the passenger seat and not the driver. Healthcare is, again, just one of the worst topics for women, because this also is potentially life-threatening for us, and that is based on sexism. For example, when a woman, and I experienced it too, when I as a woman go to a doctor, oftentimes male doctors, but also female doctors do this too, where when a woman comes in and says, I have pain.
Just drink a tea, calm down, no worries.
Because women, we just make a big thing out of everything, right? And when we have pain, we immediately,
oh God, I'm almost dying.
No, we don't. Women have a really high pain tolerance. That is known. And when I go to a doctor, I want to be taken seriously.
Let me tell you why I don't trust male doctors. 6 months ago, I was admitted to the hospital. I had symptoms of a fistula. I'll explain that in a little while. I was in horrible pain. The 2 male doctors that I got, they were middle-aged. They told me that it was probably period pain. I know what period pain feels like. I told them I was having symptoms of a fistula. They told me I was crazy. They told me there's no way I have a fistula. They discharged me without figuring out what was wrong with me. I have Crohn's disease. I have a pre-existing condition. They called my regular doctor and told her that I was seeking drugs. I have drugs at home. I have prescribed drugs at home. I don't need to go to the hospital for drugs. She was like, that's ridiculous. You're not seeking. I just got out of the hospital just now. I have had a fistula for 6 months. A fistula is when there's a hole in your intestine and your bowel contents empty into your body. It could kill you. It could kill you.
How do you know? How? Please tell me, how do you know, as a man, what pain a woman has are just period cramps? How? You don't. No, we don't. And even if period cramps are not normal, to be in actual pain for multiple days is not the norm. It is normal to have some form of pain, but when you are not able to work, that is not normal, and it is not taken into account from any employer that women, and at some point in their careers, like every month, have a few days where they're not as productive probably as on the other days. Because all of these things are made for men. Normally, you should, as an employer, say, hey, you as a woman, when you have cramps, you don't have to work as hard, or you can work from home for these days. That doesn't mean that women don't have to work, but you could just make it just more comfortable for women, because these are actual problems. These pains are there. And if any man, if I ever hear again a man say,
but when we get kicked in the balls,
Do you get kicked in the balls every month for 3 to 7 days permanently?
I volunteer as tribute.
I can do that. I can kick you in the balls 7 days every month, and then we will talk who from us can go to work. You're not allowed to talk about it. You're not allowed to show any symptoms. You have to be as productive as on your highest day. That is sexism. And ladies, if you are in a relationship and you say, honey, not today, I'm on my period, and your partner dares to say,
but you got a mouth, but you got a back door,
just punch them in the face, because they really deserve it at that point. If you dare as a man saying something like this,
instead of saying, honey, I get you some chocolate, here's a blanket, no worries, I'm here for you.
That is what you should do. What you should do. And I experienced it multiple times. My current boyfriend, the best man there is, never did this. He doesn't care. He doesn't even care when I talk about it, because he's a man. He knows that women have periods. He knows that women have pain. But for me, before I met him, I was ashamed to tell him that I'm on my period. I was ashamed. I was scared, because through my prior experiences, my emotions, my pain didn't matter. And that is a fact for so many women. And it's disgusting, and it shouldn't be a thing. Medication. I've been told so many times that I just lie to get drugs, that I'm just an addict when I say the oxycodone I take doesn't work for me. I have to take 3 times as much as suggested in the little thing, you know what I mean. You know why? All of these medications, the doses, all of these studies have been done on men. Everything on these little pieces of paper is to men. As recently as, again, just a few years, medicine started to research all of these medications on women, because we have a different metabolism. We have different hormones than men. That's known. That's not a new thing. But people didn't care to research what women need, or if women needed something else. If women said, hey, that dosage isn't enough for me, we were just seeking drugs. And that is a thing that is still, till this day, a big problem and very dangerous for our well-being, when our pains get dismissed as just period cramps. And again, like I mentioned before, women are not more emotional than men. Women are stereotypically associated with certain emotions, but let me tell you, most men like this.
Pass something that's gonna help the damn world.
You mean no ill will?
Sit down. Oh, I'm sick of it. Every year.
Go to the vote! Go to the vote like you're supposed to!
That f***ing price. Listen, you motherfuckers, we're gonna give a
are way more emotional than me once a week crying to, I don't know, animal videos. And now I want to dive a little bit more into the more serious things that are equally as important. When I am at a bar with friends, without my boyfriend, for example, or before I met him, when I was at a bar, I had to be scared that there were men flirting with me, because I would probably have to make up some kind of excuse when I rejected them. Because as a woman, you sometimes have to be scared, because there are men that can take rejection, and that can be very dangerous for us women. I've rejected men and they were waiting outside for me to come out, and I didn't know what they wanted to do with me. As women, we have even if we meet in public with a man, we have to be very, very careful because we don't know. We just don't know. Drunk women cannot give consent. This is one of the most important things that so many people just don't know. When a woman is almost blackout drunk, cannot look you straight in the eyes, she is not able to consent to this. And yes, that applies to every gender. A man that is flat out drunk is not able to consent. The problem is men get told growing up that it's fine. It's not. Asking repeatedly for sex with a woman is not consent. If a woman after the first question says no and you keep asking, it's not consent if she caves in. Because at some point a woman will sit there and think, okay, this man obviously cannot take no for an answer. What if I keep saying no? He will probably get so angry that I have to be scared for my life. And sometimes a woman will come to the conclusion, I have to say yes, have sex with that man, but then I can go home safely. If I keep saying no, I don't know if I will come out of the situation. And that is absolutely sad, and that is wrong. And that leads me to the next. Boys will not be boys. It is disgusting to me that in our society, across the board, women get told, oh, boys will be boys. We need to stop teaching young girls that if a boy in school or kindergarten is mean to her, that he just loves her. You teach children, you teach girls that in a relationship, when your boyfriend loves you, he will abuse you. And it might seem more innocent in that sense with the children, but it is not. I grew up thinking that it's normal that my boyfriend is mean to me. I needed to learn later on that I am better than this, that is not normal. But we teach little girls that the boy that likes you abuses you, and that has to change. Stop telling 13, 12, 11-year-old girls that they are not allowed to wear certain skirts or tops because
the boys cannot focus on the lesson, so you girls should wear different things.
Teach the boys to get their little teeny tiny wiener under control and do not blame everything on girls. Top-notch sexism, because you teach those little girls that they're asking for it. You teach the little boys that it's okay to harass girls, because when they wear something you consider revealing, they're asking for getting harassed, to get just sexually abused. That is what you teach boys. That is how you breed predators. It's not okay. When I walk around on the street butt-ass naked, no man on earth has the right to touch me, to harass me, or worse. No man. My choice of clothing has nothing to do with my consent to any sexual or any else interaction. And that should be the first thing we teach the boys and the girls. Regardless of what you're wearing, you are not asking for anything. And boys, men, male presenting people, this is a thing that goes to you, because I know people that don't mean to be sexist, but they say things like,
since the whole Me Too and feminism, I'm scared talking to women because I don't know what I'm talking and what am I still allowed to say.
Maybe if you have no idea how to talk to women because you know all what you can say is sexist and harassment, maybe you shouldn't talk to women. False claims about sexual assault are so rare, you wouldn't believe it. But many sexist men are used to be able to say whatever they want without thinking about it, that they now think, oh my god, I'm almost not allowed to say anything. It is not true. You can talk to women. Talk to a woman like you would talk to a man. Just say, hey, what's up? You can make compliments. It's a difference in saying, hey, you look beautiful today. Or saying, oh, come on, you're so sexy, and oh my God, you're so... There's a difference. Why do we as women have to come up with metaphors and examples like, imagine your daughter, imagine your wife? Why can't you just think of women as people and respect them? There are so many things surrounding reproduction that are sexist. Abortion laws, especially in Texas. I know many women that just don't want to have children, which is fine. And she went to a doctor and asked, hey, how about I get my tubes tied? And the doctor, even here in Germany, and it's the same thing in America, the doctor said,
You're too young, you're not married. What if you find a man that wants children?
How belongs a woman's body to a man she hasn't even met? When a man goes to a doctor and says, hey, I don't want to have any children, I want to have a vasectomy, it goes, fine, let's do it. If a woman under 35 says she doesn't want any children, she wants her tubes tied, a doctor can say, no, you are too young. What the hell is this? This is so disgusting and sexist because, again, a woman has no autonomy about her body, but a man she doesn't even know has more force, more power to decide. How is that okay? And to end this very long part of sexism, I want to talk a little bit about the fact that when women complain about sexism and violence against women, so many men respond with,
but hey, not all men.
We know it's not all men. We know, but we have to assume it's all men. When I'm alone in the dark walking to the train station, regardless of the man that is standing there, I have to assume that he is one of them to be safe. That is why so many men bring women to their cars or to their house, because you have to assume it's all men. The problem is when I say I was assaulted and you respond with, yeah, but it's not all men. You place blame on me. You say, yeah, it's not all men, you just picked out the wrong one. But I don't know if you know this. No one introduces themselves on a date and say, hi, I am Kevin, I'm an abuser. Those things happen afterwards. You don't know. It's funny how this it's not all men changes immediately when a man is in a relationship with a woman. Because then immediately comes these things, yeah, I trust you, but I don't trust the man around you. Which basically means you know how shitty men are, but you don't want to, but you don't want to admit that this toxic behavior is part of masculinity of our day and age. And that doesn't necessarily include you. And now I want to talk just a little bit about objectification and sexualization, because sometimes apparently people don't really know what that means. When you objectify me, that means that you forget that I am a person. You don't respect me enough to talk to me like I'm just a normal human. For example, catcalling. That's harassment. That's not cool. Or you say, for example, oh, just smile a bit more. You're so much prettier when you're smiling. You just negate the fact that this woman has emotions, and probably maybe something happened yesterday and she just has a shitty mood today. You just assume that you want to feel wanted by that woman, and you don't care about why she's not smiling. You just want her to smile to feel better. You dismiss the fact that this woman is a human. Or men get praised when they have multiple sexual partners in their lifetime. Women get basically referred to as a used car. And yes, I have heard this, that men think, oh yeah, I don't want a woman that had sex with many people because I want a new car and not someone who has been trashed by someone else. These are things men think. Even if a woman goes out and sleeps every day with another man, why is it a problem to you? Why do you think of a woman more like an object than a human? Because so many people think, oh, she gets loose. Let me tell you one thing. That is not a thing. A woman can't get loose down there, because let me tell you, there are women that pushed many babies out there. Actual humans came out of there, and it didn't make it loose. Because why? Because you know why? It's a muscle. It's a muscle, and a muscle can be trained again. It's just disgusting because it doesn't make any sense. Even if you really think a woman shouldn't have sex with many men because whatever, gets loose, you think disgusting, whatever. What is the difference if a woman has for a year every day another partner? And if she had for this year or her whole life one partner, but she had sex every day? Where's the difference? It's just the urge of men to own women. They want something undamaged. They don't want something else having their fingers on it. But don't you dare as a woman ask for the same for men. That is objectification and sexism at its finest. And now just a little bit about sexualization, because I've been told quite a lot that as a woman, as a feminist, I am not allowed to make videos showing this, basically, because then I use my body for my content. I would use my body for my content if I had, for example, an OnlyFans and would sell pictures of me barely clothed. And if I wanted to do that, that is fine. That is using your body. I wear things that I wear in my everyday life too. I have a tattoo here. I like to show it. Oh well, your problem, if you have a problem with this, is the over-sexualization of the female body. Breasts are everyday use for men's products because men over-sexualize them and they think, oh my god, that's so hot, I'm going to buy that. But a woman is not allowed to breastfeed because, oh my god, you can't see her boob. Everyone knows that so many people, not only women, have breasts. Why are women's breasts so overly sexualized? And when I wear something like this and people sexualize me, it's their problems. The sexualization doesn't start with me. I make my content, and even if I would sexualize myself a little bit, that is fine. When a viewer doesn't see me anymore as a human because I show a little bit of cleavage, that is sexualization, and that is from the other end. That doesn't have anything to do with me, because I can feel empowered in showing how sexy I feel and still be a human with opinions. And I don't want any one of you to think, oh my God, I'm not allowed to say A or B. I hope you know by now, if I feel uncomfortable by something, I will tell you. I will send you a DM. Or I will just talk about it in general. I will never expose you. I hope you know this. And you can make jokes with people you have kind of a relationship, just a basis for a certain kind of humor. You can do that. And people that feel offended by something should be able to say, hey, I don't think that's cool. I would appreciate if you just wouldn't say that around me, or explain to them why it's not okay. There doesn't need to be any hostility or any toxic way of handling this. And if you have any questions, hey, is that sexist? Is that okay? Ask the people. There's no problem. As much as I harshly judge sexism, I harshly judge people that make sexist ideas to this evil idea. Educate people. Of course, if someone is sexist in the sense of that they harass or assault women, different story. But if someone makes a joke or says something that you consider sexist, talk to them. Don't make them a butt of the joke. Don't tell them that they are the evilest person alive, because that doesn't help anyone. Sexism is a problem, and feminism is for everyone, including men. And I hope I could at least a little bit show you what I consider sexist and what I think we should change. And I hope you did like this video. If so, please let me know down below, and I will see you in the next one. And let's get right to the thank you for all my patrons. Bye.